Hello and welcome to CricketOMania from me and Ayaz Memon. The big question we are asking today, well actually it shouldn't be a surprise to you at all. Is India only fit for limited overs cricket? Should they stick only to limited overs cricket? Obviously this comes on the heels of India's stunning and resounding win at Edgbaston a couple of days ago. Ayaz, what's the one-line answer to this one?
Well, I think they're world champions in one-day cricket, so they're showing their prowess there. And also, I think that they've regained the #1 spot in the ODIs, which is actually commendable. Because after the way we lost in the Test series, I thought that confidence shattered, morale low, players out of form, this would be difficult. But it seems that the minute they put on that blue uniform, it's a side transformed.
Right, and that's an interesting analogy you've used there. We've also got with us Amol Muzumdar, cricketer, the highest scorer in Ranji Trophy and the highest in first-class cricket debut. Amol, what's your sense? Why? What's happened? How did we manage to suddenly swing this after our dismal performance and showing in the Test cricket series?
To put it in just one line, I think it's the Ravi Shastri effect. Coming back to the point and being more serious about it, I think we are well equipped playing one-day cricket. There's no doubt about it. If we look at our Test series record in the last 4-5 years, abroad it has been dismal, absolutely dismal. But if it comes to one-day cricket, I think they're completely changed and different outfit under the same leader. But still, when it comes to white ball cricket, we have dominated in the last 3-4 years.
Right, and Ayaz, the stats are very interesting. Even for Dhoni, who we've been obviously going after because of his performance in the Test series, 91st win as one-day captain, making him the most successful one-day international skipper, overtaking Azharuddin. Equally, we have won 8 ODIs in England between June last year and September this year, and this is the best tally for a home-away series. In all, 90 played, 51, 35 lost only. And so on and so forth. And then of course there's the batting performance on the day itself, and Rahane's and Dhawan's performance, which again Dhawan of course has hit his first ever century. So everything seems to be like a new thing, big thing, records being smashed and so on.
Yeah, I think look, the roles have been reversed. England looked very good in the Test series, and they look like a B-grade team in the ODI series, and it's the other way around for India. Now, I think
and their batsmen have been just unable to cope.
With spinners. The Indian spin bowlers have been actually putting England in a lot of trouble. So I think Govind and Amol should be able to tell us a little more about this. I think the issue is twofold, which is to do with temperament and with technique. I'm talking of the Indian team now. Why is it that we are so good at limited overs cricket and not so good at all where Test cricket is concerned? I think, and technique and temperament are intertwined. More and more it seems that our players don't have staying power, lasting ability. The 5 Test series, if you see the way it transpired, at least there was a semblance of a fight. In fact, there was a win in the second Test. We won the second Test, and then everybody's form just nosedived. And the last 2 Tests finished in 3 days. You're not lasting 3 days. So it's not that there's no talent. It's about temperament and obviously the technique to cope in difficult circumstances. And both are intertwined. I personally feel, and I must say this because Amol is with us, I think these guys are not playing enough domestic cricket, which is of 4 days or 5 days. And therefore, they're going from international fixture to Test to one-dayers to T20, and no way to go back and work on their game.
Right, and we've talked about that in the past, their inability to build competence, so to speak, in the Test series. Moreover, they're not even meeting the same players at the pitch just before the match. So we've got some interesting comments that have come in, Ayaz, and we'll talk about that. Amol, what's your sense about what Ayaz is saying? I mean, do we fundamentally lack, or rather have we fundamentally lacked that the devotion to this the Test series format, and therefore are poor showing there as compared to the one-day format? And then we'll come to some of the reactions that we're getting.
See, the first and foremost thing for me, I think we need to address the problem, and by that we need to accept that there is a little bit of a problem when it comes to Test match cricket, the temperament, the technique, and red ball cricket. When the ball is moving, as much as it did in England, we have a little bit of a problem there. We need to accept that first and then move ahead. What are the measures we can take to counter that? And I feel, I've got a very strong view on this, in the sense that, you look at the ODI form of India and the T20 format form of India. They have gone miles ahead in the last 4-5 years, and that's probably because of we need to give IPL a bit of credit here, because it has transformed Indian domestic one-day cricket and T20 cricket. There's no doubt about it. And I've been always an advocate of, of having foreign players even in domestic cricket. We need to get something like an IPL format in our domestic format.
Right.
And why not? I mean, if we get foreign players, if we get a lot of players we can learn from and rub shoulders with when it comes to red ball cricket, I think our performance will start improving as well in the next couple of years.
Right. Okay. So let's take a couple of reactions, and we've been showing you some stats while we've been talking, including MS Dhoni's performance, which of course has been amazing and perhaps expected too, because we've been talking about even to the extent of differentiating the cricket captains for those two kinds of formats. So the first, Shakil says the whole mindset of the Indian cricket establishment is slam bang cricket to rake moolah, so can't blame players as well.
Yeah, but I think this has just become a good convenient horse to flog. I keep saying this: the best Australian players, the best South African players play in the IPL, but that has not diminished their performances in tests or ODIs.
Right.
So I think the issue is, I agree with Amol. I think that structurally and culturally we have to address this issue. Structurally, in the sense, give more emphasis on domestic cricket. As Amol says, maybe get a couple of players, like county cricket allows a couple of players to play in their county from overseas.
Right.
Allow them into our structure.
Right. Get
the best players, and you'll see a marked improvement coming.
Right. Okay. So let's look at some more questions and comments. When they lose, Soumya says, when they lose, we say they are awful. When they win, we still question. How fair is that?
I think it's a question of formats. I think yes, look, Indian fans are fickle, they are mercurial, they are more demanding. That's because there are so many of them. It's a country of 125 crores, so the decibel levels are always higher. So in test matches, irrespective of whether they were crucified or not, the fact remains India performed very poorly. And in ODIs, it's been a complete contrast. It's been like day and night. So it's been a terrific performance in the ODIs, and they have to be praised.
Right. So and we're going to ask the question, come back to the main question, which is that should we stick to one-day cricket then? But we also went out, as we always do in this beautiful city of Mumbai, and asked a whole bunch of youngsters what they thought about India's position as it should be when it comes to playing one-day cricket.
I like Test cricket also. I enjoyed.
ओडिया में तो इंडियन क्रिकेट ठीक ठाक ऐसी अभी बॉलिंग साइड चाहिए, स्टार्ट अच्छा मिलना चाहिए, ओपनिंग साइड इज़ बेटर, और सिर्फ मिडल ओवर में इंडिया के लिए 2-3 अच्छे बैट्समैन मिल जाए. सुरेश अभी ये लास्ट 2 ओडिया में सुरेश रैना का परफॉर्मेंस अच्छा था.
इंडिया टीम सिर्फ ओडिया ही खेल सकती है मतलब, और टेस्ट में उनका इतना कुछ परफॉर्मेंस अच्छा नहीं आता.
या आई फील सो बिकॉज दे कॉन्सेंट्रेट मेन ऑन ओडीआई एंड दे कम्प्लीटली इग्नोर द टेस्ट मैचेस. That's why we are losing most of the test matches and winning the ODIs.
But I don't think so that the Indian team is for only for the ODI. I think under the leadership of Dhoni and the technology now we have, I think we have much scope for the much wider scope for all the formats of the game.
So there you are, a few sort of smattering of opinion there. As I think people seem to be veering to the fact that we are mostly good at one-day ODIs.
That's right? Because the results show that.
Because the results show that. Of course, if the results were otherwise, then we would have this thing. But overall, statistically also, I think we've done much better in ODIs than we have in tests.
Especially in tests overseas. At home, your record is, Indian team's record is not bad at all. In fact, it is rather good.
Right.
So, we beat Australia 4-0 the last time they were here. So, I think the fact of playing overseas, and there are issues, I think Amol has hit the nail on the head, that we must confront them head on. You can't shy away from it and hide under the chair and say, oh, never mind, we'll play at home and we'll start winning. If you are the richest board in the world, you've got the largest talent pool, players to pick from, then you should aim to be the best.
Yeah.
That's and I think the aim, the
and
vision
why is
is
it not, and why should it be one for the other? Or
yes,
one
it
or
should
the
not
other?
be one for the other.
Yeah. Okay, great. Amol, let's come back to you. So, as we, the primary question is, should India stick to ODIs, and also what's the way forward? What's your sense? How do we create that reserve of players who can maybe also play Test cricket and of course continue to be good in ODIs?
Well, the thing is, just to add on to what Ayaz said a little bit, is that, we should stop talking about one Test match victory overseas in 2002 and 2007 and just one Test match. Just forget about it. If we want to achieve something bigger, we need to have bigger goals in our mind. It starts from there for me. One thing is that about Test match cricket, allow players to go to play county cricket, allow players to go to South Africa, to Australia, take them to different places, and also allow other foreign players to come into our structural format of domestic cricket, and that's how you improve one another. And that's the only way forward, because Test match cricket is a real art of batting comes and art of bowling comes when you play Test match cricket, when you play 5-day format. That's where you're tested as a cricketer.
Right. So, two other points, and let me go sequentially. So, what does India need to do to retain its position in ODIs? I mean, we shouldn't lose this. I mean, right? So, we are obviously talking today, and and people are reacting well because this series has been won. I mean, we've still got one more match to go, but the series has been won. It's quite likely that things can reverse again, though statistically facts are in our favor.
Yeah, I think in India, the one-day team, the Indian one-day team is very, very competent. Now we'll have to wait and see how they play in Australia, and especially in the World Cup. So we've got a series against West Indies, which hopefully we should win at home. And then Australia, there's a triangular along with Australia and England. So there's lots of challenges ahead. I think the effort now is to prime yourself for the World Cup. And in that, I think they've done well. I was one of those who argued, at least on Twitter and my articles, that Shikhar Dhawan should make way for Sanju Samson because he had a very rough tour. But Dhoni is persisted with him, and he's been proved right, he's been vindicated. I think Dhoni is looking at the bigger picture.
But at
the World Cup.
Did he not, did he show the same consistency in the cricket, in the Test series as well, in terms of retaining players, retaining positions?
Yes and no. Dhawan was there for the first 3 Test matches, but then he gave way to Gambhir, and Stuart Binney gave way. But Test matches are played over 5 days. That's a different kind of a challenge. Even the skill sets at times become different, but certainly in the temperament, in the construction of an innings or the way you bowl, they are very different games.
No, and the question is did Dhoni show the same degree of leadership consistency operationally as he's perhaps showing in the ODIs?
I think he's been a little bit hamstrung, because when your top order is almost always 50 for 5 or 50 for 6, there's not much a captain can do. We keep blaming our bowlers, but if the batting is not giving you 150, 200 runs, there's not much the bowler can do or the captain.
And I'm also reminded, what about the coach factor? That's something that we attacked quite furiously in the...
So I have my own theory, which is what I told you. I think even the captain himself needs to play a lot more domestic cricket, or at least watch it. So too the coach. The England team, the team which went to England out of the 18 players, I don't think Dhoni has played or even seen 10 or 11 of those players in a longer format. He's seen them all in IPL. And then he's seeing them at the nets in England. So I think there is a gap there which needs to be bridged.
Right. Okay, so Amol, what do you think we should be doing or perhaps not doing to ensure that we don't lose the little edge that we have at this point in ODIs?
Well, the thing is, as Ayaz said, that that we start planning for World Cup 3 years, down the line. We start planning for World Cups, and we have done perfectly well. I hope that the Australia series goes well, so that they peak at the right time to the World Cup. So everything builds up to the World Cup, and that's the reason that the planning and execution goes towards the World Cup of 50 over format. But why not have the same kind of an attitude with Test series? Try and set up a goal for 2017 Australia series or 2017 England series that we'll go there and win it. Start preparing from now. Start preparing for the next 2-3 years to win that England series next time we go to tour England. Then the planning and preparation and execution will be correct. That's my theory on that.
Right, is bang on, and I'll give you a little anecdote from history, cricket history, that in 1930, England saw Bradman first time. He made 974 runs in the series. One of the guys who saw him bat like that was Douglas Jardine, and he said our next tour to Australia is in 1932-33. If we allow Bradman to bat like this, we are stuffed.
Okay, and that's how they prepared for the
body line approach. They found the bowler, they kind of indoctrinated themselves. The thorough planning, it took 2 years, 3 years. Not everybody was willing even for those tactics. So they primed themselves psychologically, mentally, technically, and therefore when they went there, it was a different team. You may agree or disagree with the tactics, but the point is that they worked very hard to win.
Okay, great. So, as we sort of wind down, Amol, the question that we are asking is, should India stick to one-day cricket? Now, is this something that in your mind is an either-or question? And if so, operationally and practically, how do we find the answer to this conundrum?
Well, look, I mean, you can't stick to one-day cricket. Yes, they have, we can say in the last 3-4 years, they have found a formula to win games. Quite often they're not. So I think just stick with that formula and just keep going at it and have goals. Have your goals set up for the World Cup. But don't forget the Test format. Test format is also equally important. If to be very honest, for me, if your Test side is strong, then your one-day side would be definitely stronger.
Right. So, Ayaz,
I agree with it. I think that the better equipped players, technically better equipped players, actually make better one-day players also. So, you've seen that the best teams in history, even one-day teams, the West Indies, the great West Indies team, they were terrific at Test cricket as well as one-day cricket. So too the Australians. The odd blips you've had, India won 2 World Cups separated by 28 years. So, if you've got a great team, which is a Test team, it will also be a very good one-day team or a great one-day team.
So, you're saying that if you want to be a good one-day and not be seen as someone condemned to only play or win one-days, then you better have a good Test team, because that's an integral part of being a good cricket team.
The other part is in the logistics of how cricket is run. Right now, ICC's, the top 3 teams are India, England and Australia. And they've kind of formed a brotherhood and they've committed to each other over the next 5 years to play so many Test matches. Now you can't wish away Test matches. India can take a position that we are happy winning one-dayers and we don't mind getting thrashed in Tests. But that's a very I think a very dismal position to get into.
Right. Ayaz, we'll go into our quiz very quickly, and I'm going to come back and ask you for your most memorable moment of this match, and I'll give you a few seconds to collect your thoughts. So the quiz question we asked, the first one is, who made his debut in this ODI series?
Ajinkya Rahane.
Dhaval Kulkarni.
Sorry, I'm not aware of it.
Dhaval Kulkarni.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, Dhaval Kulkarni.
Dhaval Kulkarni.
He has the record of winning the most ODI, means percentage wise. Like out of 100, he has won, I don't know that percentage, but he has won a lot of ODIs comparable to other captains.
I don't know.
91 matches जीते. मोहम्मद अजहरुद्दीन का record तोड़ा 91.
No idea.
As a captain, वो 91 ODI जीता है.
As a wicketkeeper, the number of stumpings.
Yuvraj Singh.
रोहित शर्मा.
रोहित शर्मा.
No, I don't.
रोहित शर्मा.
इस बार रोहित शर्मा घर पे गए थे.
Right. Anyway, so I mean, bang on. I mean, of course, and this, I like the way people remember the stats. Right, the 90th, the 91st, the 91st victory, and so on.
So even the fans track one-day cricket very closely.
Very, very closely. More closely than all of us sitting here. Ayaz, the memorable moment before we close.
My most memorable moment in any match?
No, the last one.
Oh, the last match. I think for me, the most memorable moment actually was the catch which Suresh Raina took in the slips, because right through the Test series, for every catch we took, we dropped one catch.
Yeah, we were
so I think Raina, the catch as a metaphor, but one player who comes in and raises the energy level of the team so comprehensively with his batting, with his part-time off-spin, and certainly with his fielding. He was the decisive influence in my opinion.
Okay, right. So, Amol, very quickly, any moment that you liked or you treasured in the last match?
I think Ajinkya Rahane's 100th run when he showed the bat to the crowd and to the dressing room, I think that was one of the most memorable one, because as a batsman I would say that's the best feeling ever in the world.
Great, and that's great to hear one batsman view the other. Rahane is 106 of...
Also Bombay boy like Amol.
Also Bombay boy, absolutely. Anyway, great. So it's been lovely talking to you both. Thank you so much. And we're going to be back on CricketOMania with another exciting topic and big question. Thanks for watching.